You are looking at Fisher Field in Warsaw. The calendar has turned to September, the weather has turned autumnal, and we have turned the page on another chapter in the long rivalry between Plymouth and Warsaw, our 46th game of the week. And how you doing, everybody? Between the Indiana Football Hall of Famers, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby, and it's great to have you with us for another Friday night, Saturday morning of high school football on TV 46. Plymouth Rockies come into the game ranked 9th in Class 4A in the Associated Press poll. John Barron's team 2-0 so far, but he's got a bit of a quandary at quarterback entering the game tonight.
The good news is whoever starts at quarterback is going to be playing behind a very good offensive line. And they're not overly big. Nate LaFree at 240 pounds is probably their biggest guy. But the thing is, they're experienced, they're quick, and they can block well. The other thing you got to look for at Plymouth is their defense. They got a young man named Jeremy Drudge in that secondary. 6'4", 200 pounds. What's he doing in safety? Well, he's hitting people is what he's doing. And, Kendall Himes, the defensive end, is a big fella. They got enough size to battle a 6'8" team like Warsaw.
I asked John Barron to explain what is it about this rivalry that is so special.
I'll be honest with you. I think it starts with Jack Edison and Al Rhodes. I'm not kidding you. I don't think it's a football thing. We've lived in Plymouth for 27 years now, and I love these guys over here. I mean, Phil's a former teammate of mine, roommate, went to Penn. Dave Anson, the AD. I get along with everybody over here. It's a great school. I think you have two communities that are really close, to answer your question. And I think we've been pretty good over the years, and we've been playing for a really, really long time. So, I think that adds to everything.
With the Big Eaters of Kosciuszko County.
Warsaw comes into this game with a record of 1-1. They lost to the East Noble team that Plymouth beat in week 1. But still, the Tigers have some dynamic players led by a very inexperienced but talented quarterback.
Yeah, where do you find a guy like this unless it's a Walt Disney movie or something? You find a guy and all of a sudden he's so talented, he's your starting quarterback. He's always been a great athlete. This young man, Tristan Lars, qualified in 3 different races in the state finals, including the 100 and 200. So he's a very talented athlete. Said, hey, I'll give it a shot. And he's throwing the ball well, and he's running this offense. Will McGarvey behind him is an excellent ball carrier. So they've got enough offensive weapons to be a threat. I think in defense, the question is, are they going to have enough depth in the secondary to stop what's a pretty prolific Plymouth team? And likes to go wide, they like to run it deep. But I had a chance to talk to Phil Jensen just a couple of moments ago, and he had his thoughts about this matchup.
Well, you're not going to stop them. It's more contain them. Don't give them up the big plays. They're running the option, and they're looking where you're weak at. But we can't give up big chunks of yards. We got to make them earn everything they've got. And the other side of it, we've got to keep the ball away from them. We got to get first downs and score when we can.
Part of the secret of Plymouth's success so far has been the ability to force turnovers. They have a +7 turnover margin. Bo Hunt joining us on the sidelines tonight. And what is it about a defense that makes them prolific in creating turnovers?
Well, it's just not one guy getting to the ball. It's the second or the third guy coming up. The first guy really needs to wrap up and make sure he holds on to that guy. And it's the team effort to causing these turnovers, whether it's the tackle and the second guy getting in there and stripping it, or the third guy. And on the defensive back side, it's the pressure that they're getting to a quarterback that's throwing. Get him some pressure, get him off balance, make him throw a wobbly pass, and those secondaries can pick that ball off. So it's really a team effort on that aspect.
These two teams very familiar with one another. They have played each other every year since 1931. It is Northern Indiana's longest continuous rivalry, and we'll continue pregame coverage next here on 46.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by Indiana Criminal Justice, IU South Bend, TCU, Jordan Automotive Group, Bethel College Admissions, Hawkins Water Tech, Electrical Workers Local 153, Crown Trophy, Bill's Heating, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, Ruoff Home Mortgage, and the IHSAA.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by the Jordan Auto Group. Simple, easy, stress-free. Welcome back to Fisher Field. Plymouth and Warsaw colliding for the 98th time, and it's time for the Jimbo and Company Transport pregame show featuring the Jordan Auto Group keys to win. And we'll start by looking at the Plymouth Rockies, who come in here with a record of 2-0 tonight. And they have a key player by the name of Benji Nixon, an exciting wingback to watch. 5'9", 160 pounds, and a senior. Last week against Hammond Morton, he raced for 158 yards and 3 touchdowns in the win over the Governors. But he doesn't have to do it alone. He'll get help on the offensive line from junior All-State candidate Nate LaFree. Not only is he a tremendous setter, LaFree is also the leading tackler among the linebackers for this Plymouth defense. The keys to win for John Barron and the Rockies.
No question about it, Chuck. They have to keep their eyes on the Tiger quarterback. And I tell you what, Tristan Larsch is a guy who can get loose and go in a hurry. Could commit grand larceny here tonight if we're not careful. We'll have to keep an eye on that. The NLC intensity is so important tonight. It's a conference opener for both teams. And another key game in the conference tonight, you got Concord taking on Northwood. So somebody's going to be 2-0. And they're 1-0 in conference play, and somebody's going to be 0-1. It's real important. They got to play like they have and like they can. They're 2-0 so far in the season for a reason. This is a good ball club. And John Barron, now in his 14th season, 105 wins, 43 losses.
Meanwhile, the Warsaw Tigers getting loose down at the south end zone, and they are spearheaded by their quarterback, Tristan Larsch. 6'2", 200 pounds, and a senior. He's got a nice arm, but it's the legs that get the job done for Larsch. He's raced for 215 yards already this season. And he'll get help in the backfield from Will McGarvey, 6 feet, 200 pounds, and a senior. He's hoping to go over the 2,000-yard mark for his career tonight. He had 136 yards rushing in their win over Columbia City. The keys to win for Phil Jensen's Tigers.
Phil Jensen feels like field position is absolutely crucial tonight. You got to stay away from your own end zone. You got to be able to make plays and run your playbook. They got to make big plays, and preventing big plays by Plymouth is part of that. They certainly have to do that. They got to be positive in turnover margin. They're 2-1. Somebody's going to be 1-0 in the conference tonight. Who has the fewest turnovers? Probably going to be a big factor. Phil Jensen is in his 18th year at Warsaw. Chuck, tonight he's sitting at 99 wins and 81 losses. Wouldn't number 100 be sweet for Warsaw?
The captains meeting at midfield for the ceremonial coin toss. Warsaw won it and deferred. The series goes back to 1924. Plymouth has a 51-44 lead with 2 ties. Last year they won a heart-stopper, 17-10, and as we'll tell you a little bit later on, heart-stoppers are pretty much the saga of this series. Our weather tonight brought to you by SuperSavingSocial.com. Once again, a Chamber of Commerce night here in Lake City. 65 degrees, the wind, a gentle zephyr out of the northeast at 10. And there's not a chance we'll see a raindrop again tonight. Nice thin cloud layer overhead.
Yeah, it's 10 miles an hour on a regular basis, but it has been gusting up to about 18 at times. And right now the flag's pretty much straight out in the end zone to our right. The Warsaw Tigers won the toss, deferred. So they will be kicking off from the north end zone. And Plymouth will defend the south goal here tonight. Plymouth in their road white jerseys, red pants, white helmets. Warsaw looking a lot, I don't say Ricky Fowler-ish tonight, but Ricky dresses in all orange on Sunday, so we'll have to go with that. They're in orange pants, orange jerseys. You got the black helmets, and they are lined up getting ready to go out on the field for the kickoff. Beautiful facility here. You can't say enough about the generosity of Lutheran Health Network in Fort Wayne. They've been beneficial not only in the field and the construction of the stadium, but also in providing trainers on the field and a full-time strength and conditioning coach, which has made a big difference. And Phil Jensen really excited about the support that they've gotten from them. Plymouth is just as excited. They've got a beautiful new stadium, new facilities. What a great job. What a great commitment to the young people in both of these communities. And that's what it takes. Wrap your arms around them. I'm going to wrap my arms around my partner, Chuck Freeby, tonight because it's going to get a little cold up here. Chuck Freeby, our TV 46 sports director, ready to call tonight's play-by-play action.
You're looking at Harrison Mevis, the kicker for Warsaw. His brother, Andrew, preceded him in this role, and Andrew is kicking for Fordham tonight, as a matter of fact, in its football game, making his collegiate debut. Back deep for the Plymouth Rockies. Braxton Bennett is 21, Benji Nixon is 22. We're ready to go in the longest continuous rivalry in northern Indiana. The wind at Mevis's back as he puts the foot into the football and puts it into the end zone for the touchback. And the Plymouth Rockies will begin first and 10 at their own 20-yard line. The Warsaw defense coming out of the field, hoping it can control a Plymouth offense that has averaged 370 yards a game and 36 points a contest. And Cole Filson, despite a deep bone bruise, is going to get the start at quarterback tonight. You see him there, the 6'1", 175-pound junior. Filson turns and hands off to his fullback. Brady Reed runs for about 8 yards on the handoff. Blake Reed on the handoff. And let's see that Plymouth starting lineup. It's brought to us by our friends at Michiana Contracting. Reed, Bennett, and Nixon, all formidable skill players. They don't throw much to the split ends. The offensive line impressive, not only athletically, but academically. All 5 rank in the top 10 of their class. It's Reed again on the handoff, battled for a yard, just short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1, and we meet the Warsaw defense, brought to us by our friends at Grace College. Along the front line, Braxton DeFord is off to a great start as nose tackle. Lane McClone had 17 tackles in that game against East Noble last week. The secondary spearheaded by the senior cornerback, Zach Riley. You'll meet him at halftime. Handoff in the backfield, nowhere to go. Great job by the Warsaw defense. They stop Plymouth on 3rd and 1. Coming up with the hit that time for Warsaw and limping around a little bit, number 50. And that is Jason Wagner. And it'll be 4th down and 1. Now, Filson also doubles as the punter.
You know how John Barron hates the kick. He hates the punt.
But 4th and 1 at his own 29. He's got Filson in a pistol. Trying to draw Warsaw offside, fumble, and Warsaw's going to get the ball deep in Plymouth territory at the 20. We talked about turnovers, and Warsaw forces the first one of the game.
Jack Tucker recovered that ball.
A terrific job by the Warsaw defense. And here's another look at it, courtesy of Bethel College admissions. A botched handoff, and then the pressure applied by John Svinerich, the defensive tackle. And Warsaw sitting pretty, 1st and 10 from the 20 as Tristan Larsch comes in to direct the Tiger offense.
Wouldn't have mattered much, Chuck, if he was tackled or fumbled, but that's a big, big play in this ball game, especially early on.
Will McGarvey, the only back by Larsch, trips to the right of the Warsaw senior. It's Larsch throwing out to Zach Riley. Riley dodging tacklers, going deep into territory to the 3. It'll be 1st and goal. The first down sponsored by Grace Village Retirement Community.
Zach Riley. 1st and goal, Tigers at the 3.
So it'll
17.
Here's another look at it, courtesy of Bethel College admissions. A throw out into the flat, and Riley made one nice move and nearly took it to the house on the first play from scrimmage. Eli Owen brings the play in from the sideline for the Tigers.
One of those ultimate examples, Chuck, of getting space for an athlete like Riley, where he can create some movement. Got to the 3.
Some confusion as to who should line up where. And now Owen comes off the field. Here's Larsch trying to keep it himself on the option. And Larsch couldn't get around that Plymouth defense, which comes up with a big play that time as Jeremy Drudge from the safety position chases down Larsch. That's not an easy thing to do. It's a loss of 4 on the play, 2nd and goal.
It's a loss of 4, but it's not a sack. He wasn't attempting to pass, but that was a pure run, and he thought he could get to the corner, and Plymouth prevented. There was no corner.
Kind of wonder if that play was messed up from the very start by the fact that there was confusion as to the personnel grouping who should be on the field. Owen comes in with the play again, and this time Bryce Garner, as Warsaw will run out of a split back formation for the first time this season. Larsch gives it to Garner up the middle. Touchdown, Warsaw. No, they call him down. Oh, they call him down just short of the goal line at the 1-foot line. Wow. We'll get another look at this one on the Bethel College admissions replay, and you're right down by the goal line with Matt Thibodeau. Remember, no Yes, he is down short of the goal line. Good work by our cameraman, Matt Thibodeau, down there.
Gain of 6.
Running out of the pistol from the 1-foot line. It's McGarvey trying to slam in. He's in for the score. Touchdown, Warsaw. Will McGarvey's second rushing touchdown of the year. And it's sponsored by Papa John's Pizza of Warsaw. The Tigers are on the board.
8:51 left to go, and Chuck, it would have been a huge momentum reversal if Plymouth had been able to stop them and hold them to a field goal there, but they get the touchdown.
The extra point sponsored by the Warsaw High School Adult Tiger Booster Club. Harrison Mevis is on to try it. A low snap, the kick is up, and it is good. 8:51 to go in the first quarter. The Warsaw defense set the table with a fumble recovery deep in Plymouth territory. Then Will McGarvey took it on in for the score, and the Tigers lead number 9, Plymouth 7-0 on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week brought to you in part by the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, which says, whoa, don't text and drive. 7-0 Warsaw after they take advantage of a Plymouth miscue.
20 yards on the scoring drive, 4 plays, picked up a first down, 1:35 off the clock. Extra point good. Mevis drilled it through. 7-0. Warsaw Tigers in the lead, playing at home. Wind at their back. A lot of things go Warsaw's way right now.
Warsaw's Tiger Booster Club sponsors the kickoff, and Mevis sends another one hurtling to the end zone for the touchback. And again, Plymouth will have to start from its own 20-yard line, down 7-0 this time.
Folks, don't pass up this deal from Papa John's Pizza. Right now, get 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas for $6.99 each, and order cheese sticks, only $5. We'd like to thank Papa John's Pizza of Warsaw for feeding our production crew tonight with great pizza and much more. Man, they had brownies, they had chocolate chip, they had cinnamon. Oh my goodness, awesome. Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza.
And our first quarter tonight sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival, which is held this weekend. Cole Filson at quarterback, and whistles blown and flags thrown, and that'll give us an opportunity to meet our officiating crew tonight, which is a bit of a full house. 2 James, 3 Marks.
That's right. Nice group of folks.
James Craig, the referee, signals the infraction, a false start against Plymouth. And James Craig joined by James Payne, Mark Herberger, Mark Stultz, and Mark Mettler, all from the Fort Wayne area. 1st and 15.
You guys were excited about working the game tonight. Wishing both teams luck, so let's have a great night.
Filson throws out in the flat. The catch made out there, and a spin upfield by Benji Nixon, his 3rd grab of the year, and the 5'9" junior brings it up to the 18-yard line. Only a pickup of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12. Here's another look from Bethel College admissions, and a good play out there by the cornerback, Trevor York, who was able to bottle things up. Second and 12. Again, Nixon in motion, but the handoff to the fullback, Blake Reed. He's got a lot of room to run. Reed in a foot race. Reed going down the sidelines, and it is 82 yards for a Rocky touchdown. The touchdown sponsored by Michiana Contracting. Blake Reed went through there like a toothpick through saran wrap.
Well, I tell you what, when he made the move to the outside, watch the leverage. He gets a good blocking inside. There he goes to the outside. And the corner disappeared. And he was able to get to the sidelines. And, man, I tell you, he's outrunning some pretty good athletes right there.
He popped through the hole, and Kendall Miller could not catch him. And Blake Reed, who had been averaging over 6 yards a carry coming in, had 154 last week against Hammond Morton, comes up with a terrific 82-yard run here, and the Rockies just an extra point away from tying this one up. Jeremy Drudge is the kicker for the Rockies. The kick sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. It is up, and it is good, and 8:04 goes still on the clock here in the first, and we're all tied up at 7 apiece.
That one took 80 yards in 2 plays. We've had some efficient offenses so far. And 91 yards on 3 carries tonight for Reed so far. It didn't take a whole lot of time off the clock. As a matter of fact, just 47 seconds for Plymouth to answer back, and we're tied up at 7.
This run is something to behold here from Blake Reed. Now, he is a fullback, and John Barron told me he had good speed, but I don't know if John knew it was this good. Zach Riley got a hand on him, and then everybody else, the hand might as well have been waving goodbye because Reed was off to the races. This has been an electric start to this one.
Folks, Imagineering Finishing Technologies is a world-class metal finishing company specializing in plating, coating, testing, and consulting services. 58 years is the knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. Reach us at info@iftworldwide.com.
Kickoff sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. Zach Riley takes it at his own 10 and runs into a host of white jerseys at about the 21-yard line. So good special teams coverage that time by Plymouth, and Warsaw will get its second possession of the night.
And it's they're going to mark it right around the 20-yard line. And you know, Chuck, so far, opening kickoff, Plymouth got it to 20 because of the touchback. Warsaw got it to 20 because of the turnover going in. And then Plymouth got it to 20, and now Warsaw has it at the 20.
So Tristan Larsch with 3 receivers out to his left. Stands in the shotgun. And Larsch wants to run now, throws it out there. And it is Zach Riley. No, that's not Zach Riley. That's Eli Owen taking the ball up to the 26-yard line. A pickup of 6 on the play. Let's meet that Warsaw offense. We told you all about Larsch and McGarvey, but you've seen the receivers. Talented crew headed up by Zach Riley. The offensive line, those 2 guards are both back. One from a suspension, the other from an injury, and both could make a difference in the protection of Larsch tonight.
Larsch 2 out of 2 so far, 24 yards.
2nd and 3 from the Warsaw 27. This time trips to the right of Larsch. He gives it to Will McGarvey. Big hole up the middle, and he's got the first down. Finally flummed down at the 35-yard line. The first down sponsored by Grace Village Retirement Community. Let's meet the Plymouth defense, brought to you by our friends at Michiana Contracting. Graham Chapman is a man in the middle, 5'10", 245, and a senior. LaFree leads a talented linebacking core. Secondary a little dinged up this week, so Braxton Bennett gets the start at quarterback in the spot of Seth Rundell. And Jeremy Drudge, also a junior All-State player, he'll wear number 20 tonight. Keep an eye on him. 1st and 10 from the 35. Larsch rolls out, finds Zach Riley, and so does the Plymouth defense. Drudge came up and made the hit for a loss of 4. And as Phil Jensen told me this week, the problem with Drudge is not only is he big, he often arrives to the scene angry.
Yeah, he's got kind of a bad mood going at times.
So a loss of 4 on the play as Riley makes the catch. It'll be 2nd down, and, well, they'll call it 13 on the scoreboard here, but to be honest, it measures out more like 14. We've seen nothing but short passes from Larsch so far tonight.
Here's one of those unbalanced lines, Chuck, you were talking about earlier. They got 3 guys split wide to the left.
And Larsch pitches out. Was that forward or not? Incomplete pass. It was forward as it hit McGarvey in the shoulder. So it'll be 3rd down. Wow. Warsaw plays with fire with its plays a little bit. And for Larsch, he's always trying to pitch the ball forward. So if this happens, it's an incomplete pass. And it was forward that time.
And that was
by
close.
a bit.
Yeah, it was close. Folks, helping residents conserve resources while protecting the environment. The Recycle Depot is Marshall County's one-stop shop for all things recyclable. They also accept problem waste such as hazardous materials, electronics, appliances, tires, expired medications, and more. Have a question? Give them a call. 935-8618.
Larsch with lots of time throws it out and overthrows Zach Riley. Jeremy Drudge had the coverage that time. It'll be 4th down in a punting situation for the Tigers, and that means Harrison Mevis comes on. So Larsh, after a touchdown on his first possession, gets 1 first down, and that's it on the second series. And Mevis, who averages 36 yards a kick, will kick it to that man, Benji Nixon, standing back at his own 32.
I like the chance of him going over 36 on this kick. Again, that wind is a factor tonight, blowing at 10 miles an hour up to about 15, 18 miles an hour. So he catches one, gets it up in the Gulf Stream.
Low snap, but Mevis handles it. He does kick it well out to the 30-yard line. And nice coverage that time on special teams for Warsaw. Racing down the field was Kendall Miller to make the hit. So it's a 38-yard kick with very little return. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Plymouth at its own 32. Best starting field position of the night for the Rockies.
It is. We finally had a conventional change of possession there. It wasn't a touchdown and it wasn't a fumble. 5:38 to go, first quarter.
By the way, that punt was sponsored by the Warsaw Tiger Booster Club. Here's Cole Filson at quarterback for Plymouth. And Filson kept it himself and got buried. Well read that time by Warsaw defensively. And the Rockies, John Culbertson comes up and makes the stop from the outside linebacker spot, the 6'1" junior.
3-yard loss that time for Filson. He's -7 with a fumble so far tonight.
And Culbertson wanted to make sure Filson stayed down as he got up. 2nd and 13. Pitch to Benji Nixon. Nixon tries to get around the outside, nothing doing. Zach Riley over there from the cornerback spot to make the stop at the 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
Nixon picked up maybe a couple of yards on the play. Warsaw doing a real good job of staying home so far tonight, Chuck.
So 3rd down. Of the 2 quarterbacks for Plymouth, from what you can observe on film, I would say Joe Barron has the better arm, but Filson in there now trying to convert this 3rd and long. Brock Whitmer, the split end at the very bottom of your screen. It's a handoff up the middle. Blake Reed. Reed tripped up at the 41-yard line on a first down saving tackle by Kendall Miller. 4th and 1 for the Rockies, and they will likely go for it.
Boy, Reed was just a step away from not only getting the first down, but maybe breaking that for big yardage.
John Barron, as Bob mentioned earlier, a gambling man. Hates to kick the ball, said he doesn't spend a whole lot of time on special teams anymore. It's Reed up the right side, 1st down and more. Reed down to the 45-yard line of Warsaw. It's a 1st down sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance.
Pretty nice pick up 14 yards on 4th down. Good execution by that line, especially the inside where they're trying to capitalize on it. Look at LaFree's got a wall in there.
And Reed was able to slip just inside the tackle attempt of John Svinerich.
Reed with 113 yards on the night. We're still in the first quarter.
1st and 10 from the Tiger 45. Wilson calls the signals from the pistol.
Big pickup there. 3rd and 4th down into the wind. They found a way to get it on the ground.
Reed off the left side untouched. Reed down to the 27-yard line, a pickup of 18 on the play, and a 1st down sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. And Blake Reed having a monster night tonight for Plymouth, thanks in part to his offensive line. Grayson Lesenby led the charge that time.
Excellent leverage inside. They're getting big openings, and that make Warsaw adjust, move somebody else inside, then you're vulnerable on the outside.
John Barron could not say enough about his offensive line this week at practice. Just loves this group, says they are smart off the field and on it. Reed again, why not? Spinning and taken down at the 24. Pickup of 3 on the play. And it'll be 2nd and 7 as Plymouth dominating the time of possession early in the contest.
Folks, Jimbo and Company Transport, where you get paid to travel the country. You have a 1-ton or a 3/4-ton truck, contact Jimbo and Company Transport in Middlebury, Indiana. Their number is 844-56-JIMBO. And like us on Facebook. That's Jimbo and Company Transport.
Well, that's how big this game is. You got people from Middlebury, Indiana involved in it as well.
Absolutely.
Here's a handoff to Reed. Reed off the left side, down to the 5-yard line. Blake Reed for 19 more. He had 209 for the season coming in. He might have that in the first quarter tonight.
He's got 53, 153 so far.
At the 5-yard line.
And look at this run by Reed, untouched until he got down to about the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Rockies.
8 carries.
And it's Reed, fake that time, and Culbertson comes in and buries Filson back at the 12-yard line. Well, it's clear what John Culbertson's assignment is tonight. He is the man designated to come after the quarterback, and he has done it well.
He did again that time, got him back to about the 12-yard line. They mark it at the 10.
So 2nd and goal from there. Nate LaFree, the center, snaps it back to Filson. And Reed is hit this time by Andrew Owens, the linebacker. Owens, a 3-sport athlete here at Warsaw, makes the hit at the 9-yard line.
Gain of a yard.
3rd and goal from there for Plymouth.
Folks, whether you have a new injury or experience chronic pain, Ortho Northeast has the top specialist to help you get back to the things you love to do. Find out more at orthone.com to take your first step toward recovery. Dr. Lee Williams is a proud supporter of high school athletics.
Benji Nixon trying to get around the right side. Flags thrown. Zach Riley was held on the play at the 5-yard line, and this play will be coming back. Riley did a great job keeping his outside arm free, and that made it all the more evident that he was being held on to over there at the 5. You'll see it yourself on the Bethel College admissions replay. Jacob Deacon was the guilty party.
You got to take the penalty, otherwise you're going to put Plymouth at the 1-yard line, so the walk-off will...
But it's offsetting penalties.
Wow.
A face mask called against Warsaw. So the play comes back to the 9-yard line, and they'll do it all over again.
Folks, more than 50 years ago, encompassing 3 generations in the construction industry, Michiana Contracting has grown to be one of the most comprehensive contractors in the entire state of Indiana. We have the resources and experience to handle a project from beginning to end and every aspect in between. Michiana Contracting in Plymouth.
So the Rockies look over to the sideline, and John Barron may be content to wait until the 2nd quarter to run this play, but we shall see. They will run it. Filson throws, and pass interference against Warsaw. Sky nicely held on to Braxton Bennett to keep him from streaking by him.
And he would have been wide open. It was a well-thrown ball, and everybody in the house said, "Where's the flag?" And the officials almost said in that, like, "Hey, I'll get it, I'll get it." Yep.
Nicely had the arm wrapped around him. Bennett was calling for the flag, but an illegal shift called against Plymouth. And it's offsetting penalties again.
Wow. It's like 6 penalties been called, only 2 of them have been walked off.
Meanwhile, the clock will be set with 1.3 left to go here in the first quarter. John Barron trying to figure out who the person was that wasn't set on the play.
Needs to know so he knows who has to walk back to Plymouth.
Reed with the handoff. Reed with the touchdown. Blake Reed with his 2nd touchdown of the night, his 4th of the year. And the 3-sport athlete has given the Rockies the lead on the final play of the first quarter. And you'll see it again on the Bethel College admissions replay. A terrific seal block that time by Jackson Lee, the 5'10", 200-pound junior.
Boy, that's great work in that offensive line.
Plymouth just running the ball right at the heart of this Tiger defense in the first quarter. And after an early turnover helped Warsaw grab the lead, a punishing running game has gotten it back for the Rockies. Michiana Contracting sponsors the touchdown. The extra point sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. We've got 1 quarter in the books here in Warsaw, and Plymouth behind a dynamic running game, and that man, Blake Reed, leads Warsaw 14-7 on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week brought to you in part by IU South Bend, fulfilling the promise. Chuck Breedy, Bob Nagel back with you at Fisher Field. The third member of our crew downstairs for a Bills heating sideline report. Bo Hunt, I think you have to be really impressed with this Plymouth running game so far.
Well, guys, definitely have to. Blake Reed, what a great job of not only getting through the hole, but getting it to the outside then and getting away from that traffic. And, you know, he talked about his speed and didn't know quite what he had, but I'm telling you right now, he's got some speed out there. He's very quick, you know, over 100 yards rushing right now. Just a great job, but the offensive line, a great job as well. But I really like the way Cole Filson's been reading that option and either giving it or keeping it. And a lot of times you can see how Warsaw's really selling out on Filson and giving Reed that hole up the middle. Guys?
John Hampton Shelter Insurance sponsors the kickoff. Taken by Will McGarvey, and McGarvey, battling through people, powers his way to the 25-yard line. That's where Warsaw will have it, 1st and 10. Second quarter tonight, brought to us by our friends at the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. We wish them good luck this weekend.
Chuck, you mentioned time of possession that first quarter. Plymouth ended up with 7 minutes and 59 seconds of ball control to just 4:01 for Warsaw. And Warsaw with that early 7-0 lead. Plymouth answered back with 2 touchdowns, and the Tigers got to get that offense going.
There you saw Phil Jensen on the Warsaw sideline, hoping his team can come back and give him his 100th victory as the Warsaw head coach tonight. Tristan Larsch, the quarterback. And Larsch will give it to his running back, Will McGarvey, and there's just not much there against a stingy defensive line for Plymouth. The Rockies bottled it up that time with Jared Herford, the 265-pound senior, and Cameron Frick coming in on the tackle. Larsch, a young man who was quarterback of the 8th grade team, then didn't play football his freshman and sophomore year, came back last year as the long snapper, and now finds himself as the quarterback for the Warsaw Tigers once again. And it's Larsch popping it out to Eli Owen. Owen tries to get around the defender, but is taken down at the 27-yard line. Good open field tackle by Peyton Skirvin, the 6'1 senior who's a 3-sport athlete.
Boy, just a gain of a yard on the play. You know, those are, again, trying to get a guy out in space, make a move, see if you can break him loose. But so far, Plymouth's secondary is outstanding.
And now it's a 3rd and 8 situation for Warsaw at the 27-yard line. Plymouth has such speed on both sides of the ball, and so far they've been able to contain this Warsaw offense. Larsch with 3 receivers to his right. Bad snap. Larsch has to get back there on the football and is taken down on top of it at the 12-yard line, and Warsaw will have to punt from deep in its own territory. Cameron Frick was back there to make sure Larsch couldn't do anything with it.
Loss of 13 yards on the play.
Bethel College Admission sponsors our replay, and if Larsch hadn't been there as quickly as he was, Frick was right on his heels.
One of our keys to win for Plymouth was keep an eye on the quarterback, and Warsaw's done a good job keeping an eye on Plymouth's quarterback. Between the 2 quarterbacks, Chuck, 6 carries, all for negative yards.
Harrison Mevis lines up at his own goal line to get rid of this one, kicking into the wind, and it'll go out of bounds. And the linesman coming up the field to mark it, but he's going to come walking a fur piece back to the 40-yard line, and Plymouth will take over in Tiger territory. And Blake Reed has had a big night tonight for the Plymouth offense, Bob. The numbers on Reed have to be spectacular to this point.
Reed's been outstanding, Chuck. He's got, so far in the night, 9 carries, 154 yards, and then he went in from 9 yards out for the touchdown. So I've got him now at 163 on 10 carries.
And Reed is the one who lines up behind Cole Filson here. Bennett and Nixon are the wings. It's Bennett in motion. It's Filson keeping it himself and getting loose on the left side. Cole Filson for a first down to the Warsaw 20. It's sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. No negative carry for the quarterback that time. Filson, a terrific athlete, pitcher and basketball player, high honor roll student who had a TD run against Warsaw last year. And Culbertson, the defensive end, didn't stay at home. Filson made him pay a price.
Gain of about 20 yards on the play. John Barron probably thinking, if you're that smart, young man, go out of bounds. Don't take a hit. You're just coming off the DL.
First and 10 from the 20. Reed off the right side. Reed going deep into Warsaw territory. Zach Riley brings him down at the 9. It's another first down sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. And Blake Reed now at 175 yards on the night. Here's another copy courtesy of Bethel College Admissions. And again, just terrific blocking by that Plymouth offensive line. Nobody's laying a glove on Reed until he gets well down the field. Filson, big hole left side. Filson, touchdown Plymouth. Cole Filson with his first touchdown run of the year. It's sponsored by Michiana Contracting. And Plymouth moving the ball at will against this Warsaw defense, now leads at 20-7.
Time of that drive pretty impressive too, partner. Exactly 1 minute.
Here's another look. A great block by Blake Reed helps spring him to the outside. And Filson takes it in for the score, and he'll be the holder for Jeremy Drudge on the kick. Sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. The snap is clean, the set is good, and so is the kick. 8:37 to go in the first half. And after an opening turnover, it's been all Plymouth here at Fisher Field. Blake Reed and Cole Filson carving their way through the Tiger defense. The Rockies lead at 21-7 on 46. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Bethel College Admissions, equipping people for lifelong service. 21-7 in favor of Plymouth in the 98th renewal of this rivalry between Warsaw and Plymouth. Kickoff sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance, and Jeremy Drudge takes it over the end line and out the back of the end zone for the touchback.
The Warsaw Community High School Adult Tiger Booster Club is proud to promote WCHS athletics. Funds raised from the concession stand sales, stadium seat cushions, Y yard signs, and several other fundraisers go toward helping all 21 sports at Warsaw Community High School. Support the WCHS Booster Club by becoming a member today.
Phil Jensen said he might try to take a few shots deep against this Plymouth defense tonight. And you wonder if the score of the football game right now makes him want to do it right here, trailing 21-7. He'll instead give it to Blake Garner, and Garner powers for 5 yards off the right side of the line. Bryce Garner, 5'8", 180 and a junior, who had 13 carries on the year coming in. We saw him last year against Northwood with a pair of touchdowns in the second half of that game for Warsaw.
Quality running back, and they had a little bit of a different look there. Picked up 5 yards, and with 8:12 to go, plenty of time to move the ball down the football field. But Chuck, key to win for Plymouth: avoid the big play, don't give up the big play, and so far they've been pretty successful.
Meanwhile, Warsaw will go to a split backfield, and this time Will McGarvey. And he's hit in the backfield, and then a convoy led by Nate LaFree takes him down. Zach Stiller had the first hit for Plymouth. He couldn't wrap him up, but the sure-handed LaFree, the senior, comes through with another big hit.
Gained 5 on first down, lost 5 right there.
You get another look courtesy of Bethel College Admissions, and way too many white jerseys in the backfield for McGarvey to navigate.
McGarvey had to go get some help there from Lars to find his mouthpiece.
So now Warsaw looking at a 3rd and 10. And the Warsaw defense hoping the offense can give them a little bit of a break and at least get a first down conversion here. Larsh has time to throw. Now flushed out of the pocket. And Larsh spins and is taken down at the 27-yard line. Big hit that time by Braxton Bennett. It'll be 4th and 3 for Warsaw.
First positive rush tonight for Larsh. Big fella, took a couple of hits, spun forward, got close. He's got to go in a couple of yards of the first down here. Oh.
Bennett did give him a pop. I'm a little bit surprised that Phil Jensen is not sending the kicking unit out there on the field, but he's also standing right next to the linesman. And I get the feeling he'll use his first time out of the night here, which will be sponsored when he takes it by our friends at Titus Funeral Home.
Folks, you'll find expert repair and maintenance service for cars and diesel trucks at Cornerstone Automotive. Josh McCoy and the friendly Cornerstone staff can handle it all. Cornerstone Automotive between Napanee and Plymouth on US 6. Check them out on the website at cornerstoneautomotive.biz.
6:22 left in the first half. Plymouth on top 21-7. You're watching high school football on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Ruoff Home Mortgage. It's a great name to know when you need a mortgage. It is military night here in Warsaw. Those bands coming out in their garb, saluting the troops. They've got Army and Marine and Navy banners down there and having a good time. They could have a better time if the hometown team was winning, but right now they find themselves down 21-7. And on 4th and 3 from their own 27-yard line, well, they line up as though they're going to go for it.
See if they try to draw him offside, maybe.
Tristan Larsh is the quarterback. And a flinch along the offensive line for Warsaw. A false start called on Warsaw's Trevor York, and that will ensure that the punting unit comes out now for the Tigers.
The 3rd penalty called against Warsaw, but only the first one taken. And so the 5 yards will ease the decision for Coach Jensen.
Remember, Phil Jensen of Warsaw, John Barron, the coach of Plymouth, were roommates back in college at Butler. They are both big disciples of Bill Lynch.
And they've combined for over 200 wins in their great careers.
Mevis's kick, a wobbler, floating around out there. Nobody seems to know where it is. Now Warsaw will down it at the 46-yard line. Only a 24-yard kick into a very fierce wind out of the north. And again, excellent field position for the Plymouth Rockies.
And the Rockies have plenty of time with 6:12 to go on the clock here in the first half to get something going. Folks, you're interested in improving all areas of your fitness program or sport? Join the new Strength and Conditioning Center in Mishawaka, Beacon Sports Performance. They offer youth, high school, and adult performance training. The coaching staff at Beacon Sports Performance will push you and ensure you perform the movements with the proper form. Visit beaconhealthandfitness.org today.
Cole Filson scored a touchdown in the last series for Plymouth. And the quarterback gives it to Blake Reed, who gets greeted rather rudely. John Culbertson is having a pretty good night at defensive end for Warsaw despite the score. And he makes another hit behind the line of scrimmage. You'll see it courtesy of Bethel College admissions.
Pretty good depth, and well, that's just a good form tackle right there.
And nothing flashy. Culbertson gets back up and goes back to his spot. Good play by the 6'1", 180-pound junior.
Think Reed is getting any attention right now?
He should. He's merited it with this first half. 2nd and 11. Filson keeps it himself this time on the option. Ooh. And then trips up at about the 44-yard line. It's a pickup of 3 on the play, and it'll be 3rd and 8. That's the side, and you see Filson hobbling a little bit right there. That's the side where at practice this week, John Barron said, I'm not really as comfortable with him running that way as I'd like to be.
Gave him a good look. He had to see how he warmed up tonight before he made a decision on who to put in there.
3rd and 8. Filson wants to throw and has lots of time. Flips it over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Benji Nixon, but overthrew him. It'll be 4th down, and the punting team will come on for Plymouth.
Quarterback got racked up pretty good at the completion of the play there. Filson off the field, but what a good stop for Warsaw, to key point of the ball game.
Well, Filson a little bit banged up. He's limping off the field, and he's got a pretty good strawberry on that right elbow, which the turf will do that to you from time to time. Zach Riley is the deep man for Warsaw. Jeremy Drudge will handle the punting duties for Plymouth. It's sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. A low snap, but a high boot by Drudge with the wind behind him. This one goes into the end zone for a touchback. 44 yards, but a net of 24. And with 4:47 to go in the first half, we'll see if Warsaw can put together a series here and get back in this game.
Our broadcast tonight brought to you in part by Titus Funeral Home, proudly supporting the Warsaw Tigers and wishing them good luck for tonight's game and all season. Titus Funeral Home, celebrating life.
Don't forget at halftime with our Dr. Lee Williams at Ortho Northeast halftime report. You'll meet our TCU Student Athletes of the Week. We'll have halftime stats and highlights, and we'll tell you about a special program that we have going at LaCie Broadcasting where you can help people in need. 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Warsaw Tigers. Tristan Larsch, all Northern Lakes Conference track standout, stands in their quarterback, flanked by his 2 running backs. And it's Garner taking the handoff off the right side, and Garner goes for about 6 yards on the play before he's brought down by Nate LaFree and Graham Chapman.
Garner's had a little bit more success. He's had a couple of runs for 6 yards, but Chuck, they're keeping an eye on McGarvey every time they line up, and also that quarterback. So they've been effective defensively, and Warsaw needs to find a couple other heroes in this lineup if they can tonight. Keep an eye on Trevor York, 6'3" senior. He's one of those guys that can make some plays.
2nd down and 4 from its own 26. This whole second quarter has been played in Warsaw territory. Handoff McGarvey, not much room to run. He might have picked up the first down, though. He'll spot it at the 30-yard line. That'll be good enough for a first down, sponsored by Grace Village Retirement Community.
Ruoff Home Mortgage is proud of our hometown teams and proud to be a part of the community. When you're ready to buy a home or need to refinance your existing mortgage loan, be sure to stop by one of our offices in Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio, or go online at ruoff.com. That's RUOFF.com.
You're looking at Will McGarvey, sprinter on the track team, ran for over 1,000 yards for this Warsaw squad last year, but it has been tough sledding for him tonight against a very potent Plymouth defense. 1st and 10 from the 30. Pitch to McGarvey. He got turned back inside by Jeremy Drudge. Drudge, who's going to be a terrific baseball player. In fact, he's committed to go to Valparaiso and play Division I baseball. But he is just a talented all-around athlete. 6'4", 200 pounds, and former go-kart racer. He's a little bit big to get in the karts these days, I imagine.
Maybe someday he'll wind up with the Yankees and they'll have Judge and Drudge.
And look at what he can do with his foot as well. He's one of 3 kickers in the area this year to have a field goal of more than 40 yards. The others are Josh Grobel from Concord and the young man we saw last week, Andy Hahn from St. Joe. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Larsch throws in the flat, and Zach Riley couldn't come up with it. It's an incomplete pass, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
4 out of 6 passing tonight, but a lot of little dump-off routes, not a whole lot of yardage. 21 yards through the air.
And here's another one of these plays. We talked about it back in the first quarter where Warsaw plays with fire, and you wonder if this was actually a forward pass. By the time he got rid of it, that ball went backwards. That should have been called a fumble.
Yeah, the wind did have an effect on that. Another big play for Warsaw right here.
3rd and 10 from its own 30-yard line. Larsch with time fires behind his man, and it's almost intercepted. It went off the hands of Eli Owen, and then Peyton Skirvin had visions of pick sixes dancing in his head. Punting time again for Harrison Mevis and the Tigers. The punt sponsored by the Warsaw Tiger Booster Club.
TCU's Financial Empowerment Program can help your students develop a game plan for their financial future. With TCU's easy-to-use online tools, students will learn how to save and to spend. Let TCU help them get to the top of their game by visiting tcunet.com/empower. TCU is federally insured by the NCUA.
Benji Nixon, the deep man for Plymouth. Nixon lets the ball hit, and it goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. So nice job that time by Mevis, a 37-yard kick with no return. And Plymouth will take over with all 3 of its timeouts remaining and 2:33 to go here in the first half.
That's a big play right there. Again, 37 yards is a good number when there's no wind, but he got a good roll and he went out of bounds with no return. So a very effective tool there. In Warsaw, after giving up 21 unanswered points, have been playing a little bit better on defense. They'll need to right here.
Cole Filson, the quarterback, member of Fellowship of Christian Athletes in the Key Club at Plymouth. And he hands it to Blake Reed, and Reed tripped up just as he was short of the 40-yard line. It looked like he was going to be cruising for another big run. But finally, Lane McClone, the leading tackler from last week's game, got over and made the stop after a pickup of 6.
2nd and 4.
2nd and 4 for Plymouth. Bennett in motion, but it's Reed again off the left side with a big hole past the midfield stripe to the 49. First down sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance, and Blake Reed closing in on 200 yards for the first half.
Yeah, 192 checking. They're over 200 yards rushing now as a team.
The clock ticking down. You see it on the bottom right-hand corner of the Ruoff Home Mortgage scoreboard. Filson pitches deep this time, and nowhere to run for Nixon. Good pursuit as Warsaw's secondary closed in, and Sky nicely came in and made the stop. And a timeout taken here by Plymouth that's sponsored by our friends at Cornerstone Automotive. Well, next week, we go north of the border for a rare foray into Michigan and an interstate battle on TV 46. And all the time I've been here, Bob, I don't think we've done an interstate game. But the Fairfield Falcons will go up and take on Joe Sassano's Niles Vikings, and you'll see it here on your home for high school sports, TV 46.
Matchup like that, is that what they call pure Michigan?
Well, not pure Michigan because there's a lot of Indiana involved in it too, with the Falcons making the long trek up from Benton. Boy, that's going to be a trip for them.
That's a good opportunity for us to get a chance to see Niles High School. They've had some good players and some good teams in the last few years. But glad to get a chance to work with Joe Sassano, who was the offensive coordinator at Penn High School.
Well, in fact, there's a young man from Niles, David Garner, who has been working his way up through the Cubs organization and is now in AAA pitching for the Cubs. So they have had, as you mentioned, some terrific athletes over the years from the city of Four Flags. 2nd and 16 from the Plymouth 45 for Cole Filson and the Plymouth Rockies, who lead this one 21-7. The Northern Lakes Conference opener. That ball thrown out in the flat, and that's Nixon. Spinning away from people. Nixon down to the 40-yard line, short of the first down by a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1.
About 14 yards on the play.
Benji Nixon was an all-Northern Lakes Conference baseball player last year. He batted .350 with 21 RBI. And you can imagine he's probably tough to throw out on a high hopper because he's got some wheels. 3rd and 1, it's Reed. Hit as he got the ball, but he managed to spin forward and get the first down at the 37. It's sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. Culbertson had the tackle again for Warsaw, but not before Reed moves the chains. Clock restarts as they're set.
Yep, we'll let it run here, Charles. I'll get this read here in a minute.
Filson wants to throw. Bennett makes the catch at the 20. First down sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance.
Bill's Heating has been keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. You can relax knowing your family's comfort is their top priority. And Bill's Heating was voted best of the best by readers of the Goshen News. Call Bill's Heating 574-533-2079.
You got another look at the Braxton Bennett catch on the Bethel College replay. It's Reed trying to get to the outside. The legs taken out from under him by Nicely at the 15, and Plymouth will use another timeout, sponsored by Cornerstone Automotive. They'll be looking at 2nd and 5.
Reed, another quality run there, gain of 5 yards, but hanging on to that football. With a kicker, both teams very good kickers here tonight, but with a kicker Plymouth has, it can put it through the uprights. You don't want to give away anything when you're in scoring position here.
Well, when we're standing around the water cooler, sponsored by Hawkins Water Tech, we can be talking about the Holy War in Mishawaka. St. Joe and Marion renewing that rivalry for the 50th time tonight. Meanwhile, it's a top 10 showdown in Dunlap as Northern Lakes Conference powers Northwood and Concord are tangling. And they had Thursday night fever up in Michigan. There's a young man by the name of Jake Pickens for Water Elite High School up in Michigan who had 10 touchdowns last night, either throwing or running the football in a 72-36 win over Buchanan.
That's a lot. I did the math on that. That's a lot.
So that's what's happening around the water cooler, sponsored by our friends at Hawkins Water Tech. Here, 21-7 in favor of Plymouth, and the Rockies are marching. They've got it down to the Warsaw 15, looking at a 2nd and 5 with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. Filson pitches. This is Benji Nixon with a convoy of blockers, and that's a Plymouth touchdown. That was just as you would diagram it on a board. A power sweep, and they managed to run it in from 15 yards out, and Nixon scores his 6th touchdown of the year, his 5th rushing. It's sponsored by Michiana Contracting, and Plymouth has opened up a 27-7 lead, and you'll get another look at some terrific blocking here, courtesy of Bethel College. The big block made by Brayson Lesenby, the 6', 190 junior. The extra point sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance is good. And with 15.7 seconds left in the first half, and actually, I'm sorry, the extra point was ruled to be wide, and it's 27-7. But here's another look at the touchdown by Nixon. He went in ungrazed. And when you put together those rushing numbers at halftime, Bob, I can guarantee you what number we're going to have in yellow on the halftime stats, because that's going to be the one that stands out.
Yeah, what an efficient drive, too. 3 key first downs, the pass, really nice reception there to Bennett, 31 yards. That helped set them up, and 2 plays later, they're in the end zone. They picked up 4 first downs on that drive. It took 2 minutes and 16 seconds to get in the end zone from 66 yards out. And Plymouth, Chuck, you almost had the feeling like okay, let's run some other plays because we know we can run. And we know we can get yardage from Reed, but let's see what else we got. And everything else they went to worked pretty well.
We'll have the kickoff here, sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. And as Drudge spins this one down towards the end zone, it goes in for the touchback, which gives us a chance to get a Bills Heating sideline report from Bo Hunt. Bo, we've seen some prolific offenses so far this season, but you got to be impressed with this bunch from Plymouth.
Well, definitely. I think the biggest thing is just the way they sustain blocks, not just the offensive line, but the wide receivers, the running backs, whoever it is. They stay on the blocks, and they're able to get in front of the guys and open up those holes. So, yes, definitely impressive first half for Plymouth so far, guys.
Indeed, on that touchdown run, it was Braxton Bennett with the downfield block that helped free Nixon to get to the end zone. 1st and 10 from its own 20, and Warsaw trailing by 20 here late in the first half. Tristan Larsh surveying the scene, and Larsh will pitch out to McGarvey. McGarvey trying to get around the outside, and what a hit laid out there by the Plymouth defense. Jeremy Drudge came over and just leveled McGarvey to end the first half. The Plymouth defense showing some closing speed, and watch this. Grudge had a grudge as he got to the running back. It's 27-7 in favor of the Plymouth Rockies as they go off the field here at halftime. John Barron talking with the officials over on the far side. And now he'll get a chance to talk with Bo Hunt for a Bills Heating sideline report. Bo, you've got the Plymouth head coach in your sights.
Coach, you get down 7-0 early, but you guys come right back, and especially on the ground game. You talked about that offensive line. What a heck of a job they did that first half.
Yeah, except for that first 4th and 1, because I got people yelling at me, why are we punting the ball? But I got, you know, it's going to be a long season, we hope, and we got to create a mentality. And I don't know, we had a day off. It's Blueberry Festival. We didn't get out of the gate early, but I love our kids. Our kids play hard.
Filson a little banged up coming in this game. His performance in that first half.
I'm proud of him, man. He's a tough kid. It's not a good injury, and it's going to nag him for a little bit. He is a tough kid. He's a Rocky, man. He's doing exactly what we asked him to do.
John, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
John, you should know by now. You've been coaching all these years. It doesn't matter what you do as a head coach. Somebody's going to tell you you're doing it wrong, even though he's up by 20 at half on Warsaw. Halftime highlights are next on 46.
And we're back with you from Fisher Field here at Warsaw High School, and a chance to talk with our student athletes of the week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. And a couple of great representatives. We're the luckiest crew in town because we always get a couple of outstanding student athletes. With us from Warsaw High School, Zachary Jones, Miller. We had, yeah. All right. Back to Fisher Field here at Warsaw High School as we get a chance to talk with our student athletes of the week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. And a couple of outstanding representatives as always. Zach Riley is with us from Warsaw High School, and Nate LaFree is with us from Plymouth High School. And Nate, first of all, congratulations on everything you're doing, and you're doing it at such a high level, playing both ways on the football. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
How do you handle that time management?
I just put in a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, put in a lot of hours for school and for football.
Talk about what you'd like to do down the road and what you want to study in college.
In college, I want to study biochemistry and eventually go to med school.
So you want to be Dr. LaFree someday?
Yes, sir.
It's okay with us. Congratulations on the goal and the hard work. Talk about the people that have mattered in your life and helped you be successful.
Yeah, my parents are a huge support system for me. They support me everything I do, give me a bunch of extra encouragement. I just thank them a lot for it.
I know you're involved in some other things at Plymouth too. You're having a good experience.
Yes, I am. It's a lot of fun at Plymouth. Great staff. It's a lot of fun.
All right, good luck and congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, Nathan LaFree from Plymouth High School. And as we said, Zach Riley is with us from Warsaw High School. And Zach, you're a busy guy as well, involved in a lot of different activities at Warsaw High School. Talk about how you handle those time commitments.
Oh, I just find enough time for myself, schoolwork, the team, and my family.
When you get involved in other activities at school, you're getting a full experience at Warsaw High School, certainly. Do you have a favorite sport?
It'd definitely be football. It's just the atmosphere, all my teammates. I love them all.
You're on both sides of the football as well, and some special teams work. You're a leader on this team, too. Talk about that responsibility.
I just got to stay in my top shape, got to keep everyone in line.
Okay. Talk about what you have to do as far as academics. I know you're talking about studying business maybe at Purdue.
Yeah, I want to go to Purdue for business. Just got to keep up my schoolwork, just keep on studying.
Well, you've done a great job with that and handling all your responsibilities. Congratulations on your success. Good luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right, Zach Riley from Warsaw High School and Nate LaFree from Plymouth High School. Our Student Athletes of the Week brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com. Find out how you can become a member today. We've got halftime stats and highlights just ahead. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Game of the Week brought to you in part by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned. Welcome everybody to the Dr. Lee Williams at Ortho Northeast halftime report. The Warsaw Tiger Marching Band entertaining the fans here at halftime. The home team down to Plymouth by a count of 27-7. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel high top the fray and partner a very impressive first half for the Plymouth Rockies.
It was. You know, we're watching the band here, and they get the Reed section. Sounds really good. Well, Plymouth had a Reed section tonight. His name was Reed, and over 200 yards rushing in the first half. But the offensive line was so effective. The way they created holes, and they used good balance and good line splits. And I think Warsaw, you know, they were really victimized by that good blocking scheme, and so they got to react in the second half. They've almost got to send people in the gaps and take our chances, but we can't let them. We can't wait to react. We have to act in the second half.
So let's show you how it got to be this way at Fisher Field in Warsaw. Plymouth had the game's lone turnover early on, a fumble on fourth down, and Warsaw was able to take advantage. Will McGarvey was able to take it in for the score. 7-0 Tigers, but Blake Reed came right back. An 82-yard jaunt to pay dirt to tie the game at 7. Then on the final play of the first quarter, after Reed did some nifty running deep into Tiger territory, he would take it on in for the score. 14-7 at the end of one. The second quarter was all Plymouth. Cole Filson, the quarterback, takes it on the option in for the score from 15 yards out. And then another 15-yard score, this one from Benji Nixon. And the Rockies lead at 27-7 and are dominating the statistics.
Yeah, you look at the rushing yardage in the first half, it's highlighted there, but 211 to 22. That's just really impressive for the Plymouth Rockies. Passing not much of a factor for either team. There weren't many penalties. There were a lot of penalties, but a lot of them were offset in this ball game. And just the one turnover for Plymouth, that really, you know, you got to say it. Plymouth's been accountable for all the points in this game. And the time of possession wound up pretty even, but again, Warsaw moving against the wind most of the first half. Chuck, it was just hard for them to get anything going.
Well, friends, obviously all of you have been following the news. You know all about the Hurricane Harvey that has hit the Texas Gulf Coast. And it was a Category 4 storm. It has resulted in unprecedented rainfall, widespread flooding, and tornadoes. Our friends at Feed the Hungry are rushing emergency relief supplies to those devastated by this storm and working through local churches along the Texas seaboard. $70 in a donation would move a half-ton of relief supplies to the Texas Gulf Coast. You can dial hashtag 250 on your smartphone and say the keyword hurricane, or simply call this number, 877-882-7120, and do your part to help our friends in needs down on the Texas seacoast. I know the concession stand here at Warsaw is donating proceeds as well tonight, and the people here in Warsaw and Plymouth have bought canned goods and all kinds of things to help out as well, so you can do your part. Our halftime show sponsored by Dr. Lee Williams at Ortho Northeast. It's 27-7 Warsaw, and you're watching the 46 Game of the Week. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by Hawkins Water Tech. We know H2O. 27-7 in favor of the Plymouth Rockies. That young man, Blake Reed, having a night to remember. 202 yards already with a couple of touchdowns in the first half. We go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report. And Bo Hunt, what kind of adjustments do you think Warsaw can make here in the second half?
Well, I got a chance to talk to Phil Jensen, and he talked about integrity. He said we were in the locker room. We weren't necessarily talking X and O's. We were talking about integrity. We were talking about not giving up. He said everybody can be happy and in the game when we score off a turnover and go up 7-0. But what happens when adversity hits? How are we going to make adjustments during that time? And how are we going to be up? How are we going to play during those times? He goes, this is going to be a test for us this second half and test for these kids to see where they take themselves and see how much integrity they have.
All right, Bo, thank you very much. And indeed, it is a test for this Warsaw team. They have been punched in the mouth here by Plymouth, and how will they respond in the second half? Again, here in the third quarter, having to go into the wind, which has died down a little bit, but is still a fairly good breeze in their face.
Chuck, I think one of the things you have to do as a coach is decide whether or not you want to change things up now and try to win this game, or do you want to keep working on what you're working on and get better as the season goes along? And right now, if Warsaw doesn't make some serious changes in their defensive approach, and that is to attack that offense rather than wait and react, it's been far too effective for Plymouth and for Reed. He's been outstanding.
Our third quarter tonight brought to us by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. Jeremy Drudge's kick, sponsored by John Hampton. Shelter Insurance. And away we go in the second half. Drudge, a high spinner, taken down at the 2-yard line. Zach Riley looking for a place to run, gets up to the 25.
Zach Riley took the kickoff.
And that partner is better than they were doing in the first half, so they were able to catch one that didn't get to the end zone.
It was Cameron Frick on the tackle for Plymouth on special teams. As you take a look at Tristan Larsch, who was very well kept in check in the first half by this Plymouth defense, and Phil Jensen hoping his talented senior can get on loose here.
Indiana Criminal Justice Institute reminds you to drive sober or get pulled over.
Larsch with one back and trips to his left. Larsch trying to get around to the outside, but the nose tackle has him. That is Kendall Himes, actually, the defensive end, 6 foot 235 and a junior. 3-sport athlete, track man and a wrestler, and he gets 2 points for the takedown here, as you'll see from Bethel College admissions. He just beat his man off the ball.
Larsch so far in the night check, 4 carries minus 12 yards. And that's one of the things that they needed to have be a big weapon, and he hasn't been able to get free here tonight.
2nd and 13 from the 22. Wide splits along the line for Warsaw. Larsch throws behind his intended receiver, Trevor York. It's incomplete and 3rd and long for Warsaw. Larsch has had a little bit of a problem with accuracy on the ball tonight. Remember, he has not played quarterback for this team since 8th grade.
And he's throwing into a little bit of a wind there. And anytime you're throwing the ball, the wind is coming right from the north. So anytime you're throwing the ball right or left, it's going to be affected by the wind. As we saw, that one pass looked like it was a lateral pass as it turned out, but called an incompletion.
3rd and 13. Larsch was looking to the near side, now running for his life, and down he goes on the sack by Zach Stiller. The senior outside linebacker comes up and makes the hit in the backfield. 4th down and punting time for Harrison Mevis, as you get another look courtesy of Bethel College admissions.
Lost 10 yards on that true sack.
Stiller came up, and he's only 155 pounds, but he used his speed and leverage to take down the bigger man, Larsch. And Mevis again has to kick into the wind.
Wind has been a big factor tonight. Just seems like every time Warsaw is trying to get something going, they're looking into wind. It has subsided a bit as the night has gone on.
A bouncing snap that Mevis is able to field, but his kick will, fortunately for him, take a Warsaw roll and go down to the 36-yard line. Only a 25-yard kick by Mevis, and excellent field position again for the Rockies. Watch Mevis play shortstop here. Stayed down on the ball and stayed in front of it, blocked it, and then had to hurry up to get it out of there. 1st and 10 from the Tiger 36. Cole Filson doing a marvelous job directing this Plymouth attack tonight, but a lot of the credit has to go to that offensive line. Grayson Lesenby, Sean Masson, Nate LaFree, Sam Staten, and Jackson Lee have opened some holes for Blake Reed and company. Filson wants to throw. He's got an open man downfield. Making the catch is Nixon. He'll go to the end zone. Touchdown, Plymouth. Benji Nixon with his 3rd catch of the year and his 2nd touchdown. And the Rockies waste little time getting on the board in the 3rd quarter. You'll get another look courtesy of Bethel College admissions. Terrific protection, gave Filson a chance to step into it. Nixon breaks a tackle and takes it on in.
Chuck, I'd like to recap that drive for you. 36 yards, 1 play, 7 seconds.
They'll run the swinging gate and go for 2. Filson looks to throw it in the end zone. They've got it. A 2-point conversion made by the Plymouth Rockies. Let's see who made the catch down there for the Rockies. That is Blake Reed on the grab. So the night continues to be spectacular as you get another look at it. 10:07 to go in the 3rd, and it's all Rockies. Blake Reed having a big night. So too is Plymouth. This edition of the 46th Game of the Week brought to you in part by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 153, making our community bright. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nickel, and Bo Hunt back with you at Fisher Field. The Plymouth Rockies have come over and taken care of business tonight. They lead 35-7. The touchdown sponsored by Michiana Contracting. The kickoff by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. And Zach Riley trying to return the kickoff. A flag comes down from behind the play. We might have a face mask penalty here. We'll see.
Well, they worked that out. We'll tell you, if you're ready for the next step in your career, Grace College offers a degree completion program that's fast, flexible, and affordable. Keep your full-time job and still get a degree in management in just 16 months. Classes meet one night per week, and online classes are also available. Find out more at grace.edu.
When the helmet spins around on the head, that's usually a 15-yarder, and that's what happens here. So the Warsaw Tigers will have it 1st and 10 at their own 34, and they trail in this one by a count of 35-7. And Tristan Larson, the Tigers have to try to find a way to keep this thing semi-competitive. An early turnover by Plymouth resulted in Warsaw's only points, and since then, the Rockies have dominated every facet of the game. Larsh hands it off to Will McGarvey, and the senior running back goes forward to almost the 43-yard line. Pickup of 7 on the play for McGarvey, who's trying to work his way up to the 2,000-yard mark for his career.
Needs 69 more. We'll keep an eye on that as the evening goes along.
He had a big game against Plymouth last year, rushing for 108 yards, and in fact has had 5 100-yard games in his career. 2nd and 2 from the 42.
I love the challenge that Phil Jensen threw out at halftime. This is more than a football game. This is a season decision this team has to make right now.
Larsh wants to throw deep, going down the field. It is incomplete.
Oh.
Broken up by Braxton Bennett. They were trying to hit Trevor York on a post pattern, and Bennett got over the top just in time. He seems to be a little sore getting up.
Like he cut his arm maybe during the collision.
Watch Bennett here. You might have been able to make a pass interference call, but remember the back judge is looking at that. He couldn't see the hand on the back of the jersey.
That was a well-thrown ball, well-run route.
So now Warsaw looking at a 3rd and 2. I don't blame Phil Jensen for taking a shot downfield on 2nd and short. Feels like his line can convert this play. And it's McGarvey trying to battle his way up the field, and he got the first down from where the linesman stands at the 44-yard line. They'll be able to move the chains. First down will be sponsored by Titus Funeral Home. Ezra Winkle helped make the stop that time for Plymouth. Well, the officials will call the chains out for a measurement here. Phil Jensen trying to get a good look at it from his position on the Warsaw sideline.
Folks, don't pass up a deal from Papa John's Pizza. Right now, I get 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Add an order of cheese sticks for only $5. We'd like to thank Papa John's Pizza of Warsaw for feeding our production crew tonight. They're a great team, did a great job with our team. Great pizza and brownies and chocolate chip cookies and cinnamon rolls and cheese bread. Man, I tell you what, a spread. And better ingredients, of course, makes better pizza. That's what they do at Papa John's of Warsaw. Thanks so much for feeding our crew tonight.
So 5 lengths short of a first down, and Phil Jensen trailing by 28 here in the 3rd decides he'll go ahead and go for it. Why not? So Trevor York comes in with the play from the sideline, and we'll see if Tristan Larson, the Tigers, can get a conversion here. Zach Wiley comes wide to the bottom of your screen. Bad snap. Larsh picks it up, tries to get around the right side and can't do it. The Plymouth defense is able to hold once again. Peyton Skirvin came over to get the stop along with Noah Pisak. And Plymouth has held on downs. The bad snap messed things up from the very start.
It happened earlier in the ballgame, Chuck, when they went forward on 4th down, and bad snap resulted in a great opportunity for Plymouth.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 41 for the Rockies. Filson remains in the game at quarterback. You wonder how long John Barron will stick with him tonight, considering that leg injury. Reed takes the handoff, gets loose on the quick hitter and drags tacklers up to the 30-yard line. So Blake Reed continues his stellar night, closing in on 220 yards now, as he picked up about 12 with that carry, a first down sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival.
2:14 on the night now.
Jason Wagner was in on the stop for Warsaw. That time Filson kept it himself, trying to use his legs to drag people with him. Picks up about a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Chuck, Phil Jensen talked before the ball game about keys to win. One of them, the first one he said, was field position. Has absolutely not had any of it tonight.
And then when they have had it, Plymouth has been able to come up with a big defensive stop. So now 2nd and 9 from the 31, or excuse me, the 29. Here's a handoff on the trailing man. That's Benji Nixon. Nixon was able to keep his feet and drag a tackler. Culbertson up to the 26-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the play. And it'll be 3rd and 6 for the Rockies.
Benji Nixon hasn't run the ball much tonight, but he's got a couple of passes.
On the Bethel College admissions replay, look how Nixon uses his head to, well, make sure his knee doesn't touch the ground, but John Barron watching from the sidelines. You heard him talk about how much he enjoys this team and how he believes they've got a lot of toughness on this squad, and that's emblematic of a John Barron squad. Here's Filson carrying. He's got the first down up past the 20 to the 19. It's sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. And Cole Filson moves the chains again for the Rockies.
Filson with 31 yards rushing. He started off with, he was at -11 at one point of the ball game. So things have been going better for him. The teams in this game working toward a great finish, and so is the team from Imagineering Finishing Technologies. Partners with industries including aerospace, automotive, military and defense, medical, and precision machining too. At IFT, quality is a way of life.
Well, it might be matining. We don't know that.
New technology.
Here's Reed matining off of people down to the 15-yard line, or maybe careening off of people as well. Pick up a 4 on the play.
Reed hits that line so hard.
Well, we heard from John Barron before the game and talking about how much he loves coaching this team this year.
You know, I think we've got some good football players. I really like them. You know, every head coach will tell you and give you the answer that you want to hear, but if you don't like your guys, it's hard to be around them. And I really like our kids. We have 16 really hardworking seniors that are really good leaders and good students, and they care about everybody in the building, and it's not just about them, so they're good kids.
When you get the we before the me, that is usually a good sign, and that seems to be the case with this Plymouth team. Got a penalty on the play after the carry, a personal foul against Warsaw. It's going to be half the distance to the goal line, and a first down for Plymouth, sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival.
The ball's at the 15, so it should get walked down to the 7.
So let's see if they do indeed march it down that way. The umpire walking the ball inside the 10-yard line all the way down. They'll spot it inside the 6, almost to the 5, and it's first and goal for the Plymouth Rockies, already leading 35-7. Cole Filson, a young man who not only likes to do hunting and fishing in the off-season, but loves to work on restoring cars with his grandfather. Well, he has restored some life into this Plymouth offense. Here's a handoff up the middle. Blake Reed, a rare carry for no gain tonight as he stopped at the 5-yard line. Wagner in on the stop for Warsaw.
Helping residents conserve resources while protecting the environment, the Recycle Depot is Marshall County's one-stop shop for all things recyclable. They also accept problem waste such as hazardous materials, electronics, appliances, tires, expired medications, and more. Have a question? Give them a call at 935-8618.
Reed trying to batter his way to the end zone again, but Warsaw able to surround him with orange jerseys that time. Lane McClone came over to make the stop. McClone, the 6', 175-pound senior. His brother Tristan was a star running back here at Warsaw, now plays linebacker for Marion University.
222 yards on the ball game for Reed.
3rd and goal. I formation this time. Nixon the tail of the tandem, and Warsaw read the play beautifully defensively. Wagner has come in the game here in the second half at linebacker, and Jason Wagner, a 6', 190-pound junior, makes another fine stop right here.
Got some good help, too. The defense was coming to help out.
So it'll be 4th and goal from the 3, and John Barron, not one to relent. He'll go for it right here. Reed up the middle. I don't think he got there. No signal yet, and the officials wave their arms. It is not a touchdown. Warsaw has come up with a goal line stand here in the 3rd quarter. So Blake Reed comes up short of the end zone, and Warsaw will take over at its own 1-yard line. You'll get another look courtesy of Bethel College admissions.
Pretty good popping inside. Reed picked up a couple, but he needed 3. 3:30 to go, 3rd quarter.
Kendall Miller came up and made the crunching hit to get the stop for Warsaw. So the Tigers find themselves down 28 points and 99 yards from pay dirt.
He used up 4 minutes and 43 seconds off that 3rd quarter clock and came up with no points, but certainly changed field position and got rid of a lot of the time left on the clock.
Larsh from the shadow of his goalpost keeps it himself. Tristan Larsh manages to get up to the 7-yard line. We told you about Larsh being a terrific track athlete. He was a state qualifier in the sprints this year. He can run the 100 meters in less than 11 seconds.
Pretty quick.
You can't do that with a golf cart, I don't think.
No, or with a 7-iron. I was trying to get in touch with a guy you're talking about who likes to restore old cars. I've got one. We rode down in it today.
Hey, that's not too bad compared to some of the freebie fleet. 2nd and 5 from the 7-yard line. Here's McGarvey battling his way through the middle. LaFree with the stop for Plymouth at the 10.
Gonna be close.
Will McGarvey, another sprinter. Both of these schools have very good track traditions. Warsaw has been one of the more dominant track teams in all of northern Indiana in recent years. Tigers with the ball just shy of the 11-yard line. In fact, they'll bring the chains out for a measurement.
Jimbo and Company Transport, where you get paid to travel the country. They want to know if you have a 1-ton or a 3/4-ton truck. Contact Jimbo and Company Transport in Middlebury. That number is 844-56-JIMBO. And like us on Facebook, Jimbo and Company Transport.
So you saw the measurement, a little bit short. It'll be 3rd and about a yard to go here for Warsaw. The Tigers just have not been able to get anything generated offensively here tonight against this Warsaw defense. Warsaw had been susceptible to the passing game against East Noble and Hammond Morton, but they've managed to keep Warsaw bottled up tonight. Larsh uses that big 200-pound frame to surge forward, and he may have gotten enough to get the first down. He did. It's sponsored by Titus Funeral Home.
First down, Tigers.
Couple of yards on the carry. Lars now at minus 18. He was at minus 26 starting the second half.
Kristen Larsch, as big as some of the offensive linemen that we see sometimes, 6'2", 205 pounds. But he is a well put together young man. It's a reverse. Zach Riley trying to get around the outside. Riley lost the ball out of bounds at the 15-yard line and holds his back as he gets up. Jeremy Drudge is just punishing people anytime he gets to them on defense.
Going to mark him out at about the 12-yard line. Now they're going to say it's a 16. Gain of 4 yards on the play.
Here's another look courtesy of Bethel College Admissions. And watch Drudge come and just knock that ball loose as he pried it away from Riley down on the sidelines. Second down and 6. Larsch now steps up, throws, and that ball is rolling towards the sideline, still loose. And it is Warsaw's football at the 6-yard line.
Yeah, another backward pass.
Well, this one was finally ruled as a backyard pass, and it truly was. Again, the wind playing some tricks down there, but Larsch throws that ball, and it goes well on the other side of McGarvey, and then the race was on for the loose pigskin.
Wind's a factor here tonight.
A minute 45 to go in the third, and Plymouth dominating this one by a count of 35-7. Warsaw looking at a 3rd and 16. The Rockies ranked number 9 in Class 4A. And now we've got a timeout called by the head linesman, and has not indicated that Phil Jensen was calling the timeout.
I think they just want to double check, make sure the ball was marked properly, what the down and distance are. Crew's been very efficient tonight, doing a good job.
We mentioned Plymouth, one of 3 teams in the area ranked in Class 4A in the top 10. Northwood is number 1, and Mishawaka is number 10. Here's Larsch trying to throw it down the field, and it's incomplete. Braxton Bennett appeared to have position that time on Isaac Lowe. Lowe may have shoved him out of the way, but he didn't make the catch, and no flag was thrown. So no harm, no foul. It'll be 4th down and punting time.
Whether you have a new injury or experience chronic pain, Ortho Northeast has the top specialists to help you get back to the things you love to do. Find out more at orthone.com. To take your first step toward recovery, call Dr. Lee Williams, a proud supporter of high school athletics.
The punt by Harrison Mevis, sponsored by the Warsaw Tiger Booster Club. Mevis standing in his own end zone to boot this one away. And again, into the wind, fielded back at the 42-yard line. Nixon able to elude one tackler and more. Nixon still on his feet. Flag comes in from behind the play as Nixon goes to the end zone, but it may be coming back.
But it's still one of the great highlights you'll see all season. Boy, Benji Nixon used his speed, his leverage, took a couple of hits and popped out of there.
It's a holding call, a block in the back against Plymouth. And we'll look at the whole play again, courtesy of Bethel College Admissions. Take a look at this play by Benji Nixon. He gets away from Zach Riley there, and then we'll see if we can pick up the block in the back.
Right there.
I didn't see it, but Benji Nixon with a terrific return. Unfortunately for him, despite your visual evidence, it will be called back.
Still an exciting play.
And still great field position for Plymouth. They'll have the ball 1st and 10 at the Warsaw 28. This has been a game played almost entirely in Warsaw territory.
28-yard line.
Filson, Blake Reed up the middle, flags thrown, ball pops loose, still loose. Riley's got it for Warsaw. And Zach Riley in a foot race. Filson tried to haul him down.
Touchdown.
No signal, touchdown Warsaw. So Riley with a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And we'll see what the flag is all about. The flag was thrown well before Reed had fumbled. So we'll wait for the official signal, and Plymouth is signaling that this one is coming back.
Wow. It
is an illegal participation play on Warsaw. They had too many men on the field. Here's Reed coming up the middle. The ball pops loose. And then Riley looked like he was going to have about an 80-yard fumble recovery return. But Warsaw is called for having too many men on the field. And Plymouth will have the ball deep in Tiger territory.
5-yard penalty is really all it winds up being.
We've had two great plays here in the third quarter. Both of them called back.
One of those nights, partner.
Illegal participation on part of the
Boy, Zach Riley really put on a show there. Good speed, good quickness, good fear speed. He had a couple of guys bearing down on him, but he found a way to get in the end zone.
All right, let's see if we can count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's at least 12 out there.
Yeah. Which is not a bad idea.
Well, that might be how you get everybody loose. You've got everybody blocked, and then Riley can carry the fumble. So 1st and 10 from the 14, the first down sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. Here's a pitch out. Benji Nixon, they scored on this in the first half. They'll score on it now. Nixon with his 3rd touchdown of the night. And Plymouth continues to rack up the points, although there's a flag on the play. This one coming back as well, holding against the Rockies.
Oh, my.
So that is now 3 touchdowns called back here in the third quarter.
Chuck, you know, for more than 40 years, encompassing 3 generations in the construction industry, Michiana Contracting has grown to be one of the most comprehensive contractors in the entire state of Indiana. You have the resources and experience to handle a project from beginning to end and every aspect in between. Michiana Contracting in Plymouth. They have not been called for a penalty tonight, Michiana Contracting.
1st and 13 from the 18. The pitch to Braxton Bennett. Bennett trying to get around the left side. Bennett spun out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. He'll be close to a first down. So Braxton Bennett, who has not had a lot of offensive action tonight, but he comes up with a nifty run here. And again, good blocking on the outside to help free him up. The perimeter blocking for Plymouth has been terrific tonight. That was Cameron Van Loo getting the block to free Bennett. He stepped out of bounds at about the 7. 2nd and 3. Reed tripped up as he goes up the middle, short of the first down. So he went down just shy of the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Here's the 5-yard line.
Waning seconds here of quarter number 3.
Have Reed now with 225 yards rushing in this ball game. He had 200 of them in the first half.
He scored on the final play of the first quarter. Now it'll be Van Loo trying to score on the final play of the third. He got the first down, tripped up short of the goal line, up to the 2. So Cameron Van Loo on the carry. The sophomore, 5'8", 165 pounds, gets a first down sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. That will do it for quarter number 3 here at Fisher Field in Warsaw. The Rockies dominating the 98th renewal of this rivalry. Benji Nixon having a big night. This was a touchdown that counted. And Plymouth leads at 35-7 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. You know, Bill's Heating sponsors our sideline report. Bo Hunt down on the sidelines tonight in Scottsdale Fleece. It's a little chilly here at the beginning of September, Bo, but not for the Plymouth offense. They have been dominant in this one. We've talked about them, but what about this Plymouth defense that you've seen tonight?
Well, I'm glad you brought them up because, you know, one of the biggest reasons why it's 35-7 is this defense as well. You talked about most of this game's been played in Warsaw's territory. Well, that has a lot to do with their defense, not giving up any field position, not giving up many back-to-back first downs. And they've been a real key to this game, which is holding Warsaw to nothing on the ground, not much in the air, putting pressure on the quarterback as well. So a lot of the success today has been for this defense as well, guys.
Cameron Van Loo on the carry. He's taken down short of the goal line at about the 1. It'll be second down and goal.
So we might have seen at least the limitation for Reed the rest of the night, I think.
Well, and Joe Barron now in at quarterback for the Plymouth Rockies. Barron wears number 12. The coach's son, 5'10", 115, a sophomore. Nixon, the tail of the tandem from the I formation. Nixon to the end zone for a Plymouth Rocky touchdown. It's sponsored by Michiana Contracting. Benji Nixon with his 3rd touchdown of the night. And the Rockies are on the board again.
John Barron going to get a chance to get some other names on the field here tonight, which is a treat anytime you're in a conference game and get a chance to get some, especially some of your younger guys, some serious downs here in the 4th quarter.
John Hampton Shelter Insurance sponsors the extra point by Jeremy Drudge. It is up and good. 11:23 to go in the contest, 42-7 Plymouth. Let's get another look at the touchdown by Mr. Nixon. And again, the blocking this time, Sam Staten, the guard, helping carve a hole that time, as did Blake Reed, the lead back in the eye.
Nixon's a great name down here in Plymouth. His grandfather was the baseball coach, legendary baseball coach down here. He's had a lot of family members who played for Plymouth over the years.
Well, a reminder that we've got college football for you Saturday night on Pulse FM. Your home for Purdue football in the Jeff Rome era, ready to open up down at Lucas Oil Field in Indianapolis. Purdue's got a tough task, though. They've got to take on the Louisville Cardinals, and Bobby Petrino's squad expected to have another big year. It's Purdue and Louisville tomorrow night. Pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7:30 on your home for Boilermaker football, Pulse FM.
We also carry IU football, and what a game last night between IU and Ohio State. The Hoosiers had a little something going there. Gave a good test to the Buckeyes.
Jeremy Drudge's kickoff, sponsored by John Hampton Shelter Insurance. Coming down the sidelines, Zach Riley taken out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Our 4th quarter tonight brought to us by our friends at the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. That is always such a big event there at Centennial Park in Plymouth. Saw them setting up for that on Wednesday, and man, it is a scene down there.
Spent a lot of years, well, a number of years ago, played in a softball tournament down there at Blueberry Festival. Boy, just some great memories. Wonderful people down there in Plymouth. If you don't have any plans for the entire weekend, you want to swing down there for a few hours, have some fun, great food, wonderful community.
1st and 10 at the 28 for Tristan Larsch and the Warsaw Tigers. A lot of the second unit on for Plymouth now defensively. Larsch will throw to Zach Riley. Riley nearly lost the handle on the football, hangs on and gets up to about the 34-yard line before he's brought down. Noah Pisak, the cornerback, with help from Peyton Skirvin to bring him down.
First completion in quite a while in the ball game for Warsaw. Folks, the Warsaw Community High School Adult Booster Club is proud to promote WCHS athletics. Funds raised from the concession stands Stadium seat cushions, Y-yard signs, and several other fundraisers go toward helping all 21 sports at Warsaw Community High School. Support the WCHS Booster Club by becoming a member today.
Larsh will give it off to Will McGarvey. He's brought down after a pickup of maybe about one on the play. Garrett May, a 5'10 senior defensive lineman, comes over to make the hit.
McGarvey 63 yards away from 2,000 in his career, moving ever closer.
Will McGarvey, terrific track athlete. In fact, he's been all conference in that sport 2 times in a row. 3rd and 3 here for the Tigers at their own 35. Larsh will keep it himself and gets bulldogged down from behind. Nice tackle that time by Cameron Frick, a defensive end. And that's an area of this Plymouth defense that has been somewhat unheralded tonight. But Cameron Frick, Graham Chapman, and Kendall Himes across the front have done a real nice job controlling the line of scrimmage for the Rockies.
You sure that's the right Himes that's in there? Okay, keep an eye on his brother's on the staff.
Linnell told me before the game he still has some plays in him. 4th and 3. Larsh surveys the scene. Drops to throw and incomplete, and Plymouth will take over in Tiger territory. Larsh was trying to throw that ball to Jack Tucker, his tight end, but Tucker couldn't come up with a catch. And the Rockies will have it 1st and 10 at the Tiger 35, leading by 35 with 9:16 to go.
With over 45 years of combined experience, you know you can trust Cornerstone Automotive with your family's vehicles. Josh McCoy and the friendly Cornerstone staff can handle it all. Cornerstone Automotive between Napanee and Plymouth on US 6.
Well, we've seen a lot of the Northern Lakes Conference here early in the season. We had Northwood in our opener. We had Northridge last week. And now we've seen Plymouth and Warsaw. We had Elkhart Memorial against Elkhart Central. And we'll go to Bo Hunt for a Bills Heating sideline report when this play is over, as you take a look at Joe Barron, the 2nd-string quarterback in for Plymouth. And a whistle blown and a flag thrown. Probably had 2 men in motion at that play. But, Bo, what I wanted to get to is, as we look at this conference, now we haven't seen Concord yet, and I know they were giving Northwood fits earlier tonight, but how do you see the NLC shaping up this year?
Well, it's definitely a tough conference, especially in the, Phil Jensen talked about at the beginning of the game. There's 4 teams right now going at it here at the top, with Plymouth and Warsaw and Concord and Northwood going right at it right away. And, Northwood, they're ranked number 1 in the state. Plymouth's right up there, but, it's just going to basically boil down to who can come in every single game and control the ball and play their game and not get out of their game plan and have another team take it out of their game plan. I think that's one of the biggest things is sticking to, because Plymouth's got a different style than Northwood, of course, and Northwood's got a big style as well.
Blake Davis had the carry. We've got an injured Warsaw Tiger down on the field. 9:05 to go in the contest. Back after this. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technologies. IFT, where quality is a way of life. The injured Warsaw Tiger was Daniel Deontes, and he was helped to the sideline. Trainers tending to him. 2nd and 13 for Plymouth. Blake Davis on the carry. Blake Davis up the middle and taken down at the 25-yard line. If they spot it there, he'll have a 1st down, sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. Davis, 6 foot 170 and a sophomore, and a force on the wrestling mats.
Picked up 14 yards and a 1st down.
They say when he wrestles, buzzer to buzzer is about as intense as the action can possibly get. It's Davis again, this time stacked up after about a pickup of 2. The rugby scrum on, and he actually probably made 3 yards out of that.
Interested in improving all areas of your fitness program or sport? Join the new Strength and Conditioning Center in Mishawaka. It's Beacon Sport Performance. They offer youth, high school, and adult performance training. The coaching staff at Beacon Sport Performance will push you and ensure you perform movements with the proper form. Visit beaconhealthandfitness.org today. That's beaconhealthandfitness.org.
Henry Williamson in on the tackle that time for Warsaw. Second and 8. Van Loo in motion. Barron, I think, kept it himself. And he's taken down. Joe Barron, not a very big young man. They list him at 5'10", 150 pounds. But he might be hard-pressed to get to 150.
He did a good job of holding on to that football. That snap was a little bit high. When he tried to bring it down to hand it off, he was going to be a little bit late. Just kind of went right into the line with it. Held on to the football.
Joe, a big Cubs fan, big fan of their TV broadcaster, Len Casper. Here's Joe keeping it on the option, and Joe Barron gets down to about the 18-yard line before he's taken down. It's D'Anthony Hill on the stop, 5'10", 205, and a junior. So Plymouth looking at a 4th and 3 from the 18-yard line.
There's another pretty good Cub fan that's part of that Plymouth family.
Well, that's the great John Scott, the assistant athletic director.
He likes the Cubs and the Rockies.
Van Loo in motion. They'll give it to him on the pitch. Cameron Van Loo tries to cut it back inside, but can't get the first down. The Warsaw defense manages to hold. John Culbertson, still in the game, has had a nice game at defensive end. He makes the stop there, and Warsaw will take over 1st and 10 with 6:18 to go.
Lost a couple yards on the play, but again, you're Phil Jensen. You're looking for moments that you can just point to it and say, you know, our guys we didn't quit. We going to lose to a very good football team tonight, but you want your guys, especially at this time of the game, get some people in there, get them some downs, and maybe find a spark, because Warsaw's taking some of their starters out of the lineup now.
Warsaw will have to get ready for a big game against Elkhart Memorial up at Charger Field next week. A chance to maybe get back into the win column as Josh West checks into the game to play quarterback here for the Tigers. West, a 5'11" junior. And the handoff made, and trying to run up the middle that time and being thwarted was Bryce Garner, a junior running back. So Garner stopped at the 18-yard line, picked up a little less than a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Garner with 3 carries on the night, 12 yards. McGarvey, 34 yards tonight. Not going to get that 2,000-yard mark tonight, but trusting that he will before the season's over.
Bit of a high snap, but a nice run here. And Warsaw with one of its better runs of the night. Again, it's Garner on the carry. And this is when we saw Garner shine last year in the game against Northwood. 3rd and 1.
Titus Funeral Home proudly supports the Warsaw Tigers. Wishes them good luck in tonight's game. Titus Funeral Home celebrating life.
Jack Stewart checks into the game with the play, and he'll line up to the bottom of your screen. West working from the pistol. And West will keep it himself, try to find his way up the field, but too many white jerseys there.
Gonna be close.
Cameron Van Loo led the charge. He had help that time from Jared Herford. And it'll be 4th and 1, and Warsaw will go ahead and go for it. Time ticking away, as Bob mentioned, mostly second stringers in here. But good to give these guys experience on a Friday night, because they're the future of your program in many cases. West hands it off up the middle. That's a 1st down for Warsaw. Garner takes it on up to the 38-yard line. 1st down sponsored by Titus Funeral Home. So Bryce Garner, the 5'8", 180-pound junior, gets the first down. You get another look at it courtesy of Bethel College admissions. Some nice blocking up front that time as Jacob Dessenberg, a sophomore offensive lineman, had a couple of good blocks.
Garner 1 yard away from tying McGarvey for the most rushing yards on the team tonight.
And Garner will get that 1 yard and actually 2 right here as he takes it up to the 39-yard line. We mentioned Warsaw goes to Elkhart Memorial next week. Plymouth has a game at the Rock Pile against Northridge. The Raiders were beating Wawasee earlier tonight. That could be a battle of the undefeateds there, a pair of 3-0 teams at the Rock Pile. Tom Wagaman with that defensive line of his will get a test. Here's West throwing out in the flat and completes the pass. Making the grab out there is Dylan Baylor, or Beeler, I should say, senior wide receiver, and he gets a first down, sponsored by Titus Funeral Home.
Pretty good gain on the play.
So they'll take it up to the 47-yard line. Pickup of about 14 on the play. And this is about the first time that Warsaw has been in Rocky territory since the touchdown they scored back in the first quarter. West runs out, the pass knocked down by Van Loo. It's incomplete. Cameron Van Loo was coming over and read that play well. West wanted to throw the ball out in the flat to Blake Marsh, but Van Loo would have none of it.
Plymouth kind of onto that little, look at the depth here and get the hands up. There you go, that's good fundamental football.
Van Loo only 5'8", but got up very well.
Got in the passing lane, got the hands up. Up until this last drive by the backups for Warsaw, Warsaw's total offense was under 50 yards for the ball game.
2nd and 10 from the 47. Ball pops loose, and we'll see who has it. It is Plymouth football, and the Rockies get a fumble recovery. 3:03 to go in this one. Plymouth leads at 42-7 on 46. This edition of the 46th Game of the Week brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 27 years. 1st and 10 from its own 49 for the Plymouth Rockies, who lead at 42-7. Joe Barron hands it off. Cameron Van Loo finds some running room on the left side. Van Loo's got a first down and crashes down at the 36-yard line before he's brought to the turf.
Van Loo, the ball carrier.
It looks like Johnny Feldman was the one who knocked him out of bounds. Pickup of about 15 on the play. The first down sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. And Van Loo dragging the tackler with him to the sidelines.
John Barron saying about how far that bus ride was from Plymouth over here to Warsaw. It's going to be a little quicker on the way home, I think.
Blake Davis on the pitch sweep right. Davis tries to get around the outside, gets spun around and taken down by Trenton Sands, a junior linebacker.
As long as he stays in bounds, it's okay with Coach Barron.
And us.
Folks, Imagineering Finishing Technologies is an Indiana company that impacts industries worldwide. Over half a century of quality and excellence has made us the industry knowledge source. We support the efforts of the young people in this game. We're working toward the same goal. That's a great finish.
2nd and 7 from the 33. Not sure why the clock is stopped. Well, we have an equipment timeout. Apparently a shoe repair problem for Trenton Sands, the linebacker. It has been fixed. And they'll crank the clock mercifully. Joe Barron at quarterback, turns and hands it off to Blake Davis. Again, a great surge by that Plymouth offensive line. Davis takes it up to about the 27-yard line. He'll be just a little bit short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Gain of 6 yards on the play for Davis. He's got 22 yards rushing tonight.
Well, we lauded that first string offensive line. I'll tell you what, second string line's doing a pretty good job for Plymouth as well. Moving people off the ball. John Mills at center. Now Van Loo dances around a couple of tacklers and gets the first down. Sponsored by the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. Hunter Ward on the stop. And it's 1st and 10 at the Warsaw 25.
Chuck Plymouth's gone over 300 yards rushing tonight. 30 yards for Filson tonight.
And now Plymouth will go into victory formation. The Rockies about to go to 3-0 on the year. They are ranked number 9 in Class 4A, but they look like a really good team. They could be moving on up next week because Concord appears to be on the verge of an upset of Northwood tonight in Dunlap.
A lot of great football games in the area. We'll have one next week. We're going to be in Niles, Michigan. Fairfield and Niles.
So the Northern Lakes Conference could be an awfully interesting watch as we go down the stretch here in 2017. The officials taking their time, setting the ball. Plymouth is there. They take one more knee, and that will do it for this 98th renewal of the oldest continuous rivalry in Northern Indiana. And the Plymouth Rockies dominate this one tonight with a punishing ground game and beat the Warsaw Tigers by a final score of 42-7. Now don't go anywhere, because coming up on the Jimbo and Company Transport postgame show, we'll meet our IU South Bend fulfilling the promise player of the game, have our electrical workers local 153 electrifying play of the game, and check out the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute woe stop of the game. It's all next on the 46 Game of the Week.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week, brought to you by
the Plymouth Rockies move to 3-0 on the year with a dominating 42-7 performance over the Warsaw Tigers tonight in Northern Lakes Conference action. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel back with you at Fisher Field in Warsaw. And Plymouth as impressive as anybody we've seen this year.
Really are, Chuck, and you said they dominated, and it was on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Special teams were pretty solid. I tell you what, we saw a great rushing performance tonight. That was nice, but just dominating plays on defense, and Warsaw could never get on track. And that key thing we talked about, field position, they really never had it except for the fumble in the first quarter.
It was a great team rushing performance by Plymouth, but there was obviously an outstanding individual as well. He's standing by now, our IU South Bend player of the game with Bo Hunt.
Week 3, WHME TV 46 high school football player of the game. Blake, just a fantastic game out there. You had over 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just talk about that first half in particular.
I think Coach had a really good game plan, first of all. Second half, they kind of figured it out a little bit better. That's most of it. Really, the game plan was really just solid.
You guys come out really aggressive early. They go up 7, but after that, it was the offensive line really opening up the holes for you. Filson able to not only just give it to you, but able to read that option very well as well. Just talk about your offensive line and your other teammates.
I think their first score that really fired us up, and our offensive line, they're good. They're not really that big, but they're studs. They're good, really great.
Your defense held them in check as well. Just talk about the performance of your defense.
Defense, they just shut them down, really. Nothing, no big plays, really. They just did what they're supposed to do, got their job done.
Talk about that first run that really broke this thing open. You were able to bust out 80-some yard run. Just talk about that play and how it developed.
Well, I cut that one out pretty wide, actually. It was meant to go kind of inside the corner, and I bounced that out, and I saw a couple guys out of the corner of my eye down there, and I tried kicking in the jets and got to the end zone.
Congratulations on the victory and being our player of the game.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Bo. Our Jimbo and Company Transport postgame show continues now with our electrifying play of the game. And you just heard Blake Reed talk about it, that 82-yard run in the first quarter.
Well, he talked about looking at the end, he's going to try to cut it inside, and the defensive guy came inside, so he went outside. And good adjustment, got to the sidelines, and then just outraced everybody down the sidelines. I'll tell you what, maybe surprising speed even for himself. I think this kid's got a chance to have a great year.
So Blake Reed with our electrifying play of the game, and our Indiana Criminal Justice Institute Whoa Stop the Game. Well, it happened on the very first series of the game. Plymouth decided to go for it on 4th down, deep inside its own territory. Warsaw was able to force a fumble on this play, and it led to their only touchdown of the game.
Well, there was some dancing and celebrating going on early, and Warsaw, I think, felt like, hey, we came out, we got a good break, we got the lead at 7-0, and really that was about the end of it for the Tigers tonight, and they've got to find a way to regroup because they've got a really good season schedule ahead that they're going to have to, you can't show up and not get it done. They've got some work to do.
Well, we want to remind people that LaCie Broadcasting and our partner Feed the Hungry are very active in the relief effort for Hurricane Harvey, and you've got a chance to participate as well. A $70 donation moves a half-ton of food and supplies down to the people on the Texas seacoast who really need it. You see the instructions there on your screen. You can dial hashtag 250 on your smartphone and say the keyword hurricane, or you can call 877-882-7120 and be a part of LaCie's Feed the Hungry relief efforts. We sure appreciate all the hospitality we've had here at Fisher Field tonight, and the hospitality extended to our crew, including the crazy one, Dean Korsmo, who led our usual cast of characters, who put together a great production effort week in and week out. We want to remind you the next Friday night we cross the state border into Niles. We'll be in the city of Four Flags as Joe Cesano's Niles Vikings take on Bob Miller's Fairfield Falcons in an interstate battle. You'll see it Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9. And don't forget, you can always follow us on Twitter at 46 Sports, where we also take you inside the 46 film room on Wednesdays and break down some of the great plays that we see over the week. Now, from our broadcast partners, the Hall of Famers, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. The final score, Plymouth 42, Warsaw 7. So long from Lake City.